Hey everyone, we are here today to really wrap things up for the year. And I really wanted, based on the ReLaunch podcast, I wanted to bring a few of the top 10 that we selected, and we've now done 250 plus podcasts. So we really believe that these are epic. These are the ones that you're going to want to go back and listen to if you haven't. And today, right now, we are going to get into some things that we didn't even talk about on their episode. And I've got Steph Mahony. She is a divine channel. We're going to hear what that means, a Reiki master, founder of the Blueprint to Your $1 Million Life. And what does she do? She helps women heal, rise, and fulfill their highest desires. How good does that sound? And then we've got Dilan Gomih. She is a celebrated speaker, fitness specialist, founder of Diligence. She is helping individuals, organizations achieve peak performance through well-being. She is as smart as they get. Everyone, my gosh, Harvard MBA, Yale BA, and she puts it all together for you. And we're going to hear about how she's helping corporate as well as individuals get to that next level in their fitness. And then, so happy to have one of my favorite people, Marley Jaxx. She is an award-winning filmmaker, globally recognized as an expert in YouTube growth and content strategy. There is so much to talk about with this woman. She literally has overcome some of the most massive relaunches, and she's here today. And she is going to, I'm going to push her on this, talk about what she did in 2024 that literally catapulted her to the next level of success. So welcome my three favorite women. I'm like buzzing right now. I woke up, looked, when you look at your calendar and you're like, it's so good. Like, can we just keep doing this over and over? So thank you for being here. And we are streaming and there's lots of people that are tuning in right now. I would love to ask you, you came on the ReLaunch podcast. We talk about the most significant relaunch that has happened in your life. And I would love for you to share a little bit about, we go from relaunch, transformation through these transitions to transformation, and we are constantly relaunching. And so, Steph, I would love to bring you on and just ask you, what does it mean to actually have these relaunches, and what have you seen? Because you have a really interesting background and how you share with the world what you're doing and what you're doing on the other side. You got two different lives going on.
Yes, absolutely. So my biggest success is really showing people the pathway to step into their new chapter of happiness. So as a healer, I'm able to pinpoint the subconscious blockages that are holding people back from living their best life. And we've talked about this before, where it's not about a life of perfection. It's about living a life of purpose. It's choosing purpose over perfection. And I want to relaunch my brand. I want to relaunch the industry globally, where healing is the new luxury. It's the place that healing is sought after. Healing is something that people look as luxurious, that they want to experience for themselves, that it is attainable and something that's actually celebrated. It's celebrating the highest version of you.
So I want to ask one quick question, because this idea of channeling and energy and Reiki and mindset, it's really exploded this year. I mean, there is this awakening from people are really wanting to go deeper within themselves. Why do you think that's happening?
Well, the world and the energy in the group consciousness, the collective, is actually increasing, which means the ones that were trying to avoid this are now being forced to face it. And with so much energy increasing, people are starting to go inward, which is the place that we do heal. And, for so many years, it's all been it's been about manifestation, the law of attraction. But what people don't realize is that your life manifests based on your strongest thought, your strongest emotion. So, in this world of toxic positivity where everyone pretends to be happy, but they're broken and crumbled inside, what's actually happening is that they continue to attract that same wounded energy. So if we can fix that energy and actually be authentically happy inside, your whole life will naturally elevate and up level to a higher chapter of your destiny. And that's where life becomes really, really good, where you're not happy in one area of your life, you're happy in all areas of your life.
And I think that ultimately, when we've done so many surveys and I've talked to hundreds, if not thousands of people about what they're really going for in 2025, happiness.
Yes.
Happiness is right up there. It's the combination of, we often look at the outer world for success. And now people are realizing it's that inner world will get you far, far ahead. So, Marley, you are just somebody that I continue to look at from where is she going? What is she doing? You've had so many relaunches, and we discussed them on the podcast, but I'd love to hear, looking back at 2024 and your relaunches, what do you think was the most significant in 2024 for you?
I went through a big mindset shift of realizing that I was fighting so hard to hold on to my belief that success requires struggle. And I actually just wrote down what you just said, your life manifests based on your strongest thought, Steph. And I was like, that is what I was fighting to hold. Well, why am I fighting to hold that? Why am I fighting, period? And so I had to flip that into, here's the new motto: the more I play, the more I get paid. And
that is so good. I mean, you just campaign on that moment right there.
Yeah. And I also I tag team this one with the more I rest, the more I receive, which I'll be honest, I still have to work through because it's been 34 years of my life operating from success requires struggle, and that it has to require hard work, that if I let go of control, everything will fall apart. And so I asked myself, what would fun feel like? What would ease feel like? What would play feel like? Instead of, well, once I work hard enough, once I do the chores, then I get to play. Then I get my dessert, What would
that is, that is such a great way. And there's so many people that are still operating from left brain versus right brain, not understanding that you can have both of them at the same time, right? Logical left, creativity, but you got to give yourself time. You got to give yourself, I call it the pause principle, to pause, to really understand what are some of these options that you might have that would take you forward. And there's another thing that I'm finding people are apprehensive about thinking too much, and everything falls into the woo category. Oh, that's just woo. That's, oh, that's not me. But yet, who knew woo could be so good for you? That's what we all have.
Woo. I love that.
Could be so good for you. And
put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. We got to coin that one. Dilan, you are somebody that, you've obviously got the academic background that is very much, the logical, but you have kind of put in that inner world to what you're doing. And I would love to hear from your perspective, how have things shifted? How have things changed this year in what you're delivering to clients in the fitness space?
Yeah, I mean, this year we've just had so much joy, and to the point of what Marley was saying, just like this element of my team and I work so hard, but we love what we do so much, and those things coming hand in hand. And that translates to getting large organizations to understand that when you want people to perform their best, how they feel, how their body feels, how they're approaching their work matters. And as I'm ending the year, I feel so excited about it, but there's this also phrase of like pain of potential, where I'm like, my reckoning, my strongest thought, as Steph said, is when I started Diligence, it was built out of a world or a mindset where how can every human have that joy? How can every human have easy access to tools or the ability to say, I want to move my body in whatever way works best for me, and have that education? So that's been a lot of what's going through my head lately. And that's the biggest focus for 2025, which is we've given a lot of this power to organizations and to people within these workforces. But how can we make it so that way, whatever a corporate client experiences, that content is also more accessible to somebody that may not be able to afford it, but really, really needs it. So that's the biggest thing that I'm attracting energy to in this world. We'll definitely be doing some learning from you, Marley, especially when it comes to the content piece. But yeah, I want to put so much more joy and energy out into the world and make sure that anyone can tap into it whenever they need it.
Yeah. So you know why I love doing this type of forum? When we look at ReLaunch and what we're going to be doing this year, we have these workshops that we're setting up that will have lunches, dinners. And the premise behind it, and I love, Dilan, you just said, hey, Marley, what I'm going to need from you. And then, hey, Steph, what we're going to need from you. The concept is you need to know her. And it's the connection that we need to have this year of how each and every one of us plays a part in this connection piece. And I want to take us into next year, 2025. We often talk about, and there's 21 keys in what we call 3HQ. 3HQ is the headquarters of you. It's that, as we were saying with Steph, it's that inner source, the inside, what is important. That 3H is head, heart, highest self, best version of you. We know that the subconscious brain likes to keep us safe and familiar. No change, no change. But we also know that what interests us is when there's new, when there's different. And I call it the keys. We've got 21 keys in the 3HQ. The one that I love talking about right now is the dazzle and delight. Dazzle and delight. What are you doing in 2025 that's going to light up your industry, your clients, and then most importantly, you, so that you're excited about what you are doing in your business? So let's go back to, actually, I'll mix it up right now. Dilan, what do you think from a dazzle and delight? What are you doing in 2025 that's going to mix things up for you?
I think this is probably going to surprise most people that know me because fitness has been my bread and butter. But I've spent so much of my career being Olivia Pope, being behind the scenes, doing the designing, doing the curation. And that does bring me a lot of joy. But I realized for quite some time, I've been fighting this element of a lot of people wanted fitness content from me. So to the point of what Marley was saying, the last couple of months, we've been playing with both partnering the curriculum and design, and I'm going to be in videos so that way people can actually have the accessible
should be
content. I that's why I'm like, it's a surprise to most people who know me. They're like, why haven't you been doing that?
Why haven't
you? So yeah, for those of you that were asking for it, it is coming. Also hope to leverage the voices of other people because the ability for anyone to harness their health is so beyond me. So it will not just be me and my face. But I'm excited to play around with that and make sure that it's as helpful to every single human that wants to harness their health whenever they want.
That's so awesome. And Marley, I've got to high five you, pop the champagne, multiple bottles for what you were able to pull off in 2024. You talk about the key, dazzle and delight. You win the gold key. Can you share with us what you did in 2024 to really create this dazzle and delight? And then I'd love to hear what your thoughts are for 2025 as well.
I think you're talking about the documentary, or we like to also call it a docu-stunt because it was a documentary publicity stunt. And I wanted to create it. It's about cancel culture. And it's a stunt because the whole concept of it is, can I get myself canceled in 7 days? And it was pretty spicy and it was very disruptive. And if you watch it, there is a huge plot twist at the end. So just a little plug, please go to my YouTube channel and watch it. But I wanted to create it because I wanted to make a statement, take a stand against people that they are so scared to reveal the truth about themselves or to take a chance in the kind of content or message they're spreading in the world, in fear of this, like, am I going to get canceled for speaking my mind? And so instead I faced it head on with like, well, let's try to get canceled and let's see what happens. And the plot twist at the end is that it really does get completely turned on its head. And it was cool. We launched it at some film festivals. So it was really cool to be in a theater of people watching it, and the audible gasp that comes out at the end, and people after being like, I can't believe it. I didn't see it that way before. So it was really fun. And again, like, my year is about how do I make things fun? So that will also be moving forward in 2025 of creating content that feels fun, that feels like play. Kristen and I have some calls even later today and upcoming weeks with some potential docu-series or TV shows to keep building this content.
So great. And again, what you're doing, what you're putting out there, it allows for people to see the newness, the different. And that's why, for those that, aren't following Marley Jaxx, follow her, because she is putting out there what we all should be doing, pushing the edge. Love it. Okay. So Steph, let's talk about you. And you've got this like interesting world where you have this finance, business you're doing. And then you've got this other that is way out there. How are you bridging it going into 2025 to actually dazzle and delight this group of people that are really like basically the opposite of what you work with on a daily basis?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to your point, so I work at a financial institution in the financial service industry with the stock markets during the day. And yet I have this whole other side of where I'm into spirituality and speaking, and I'm hosting now retreats, writing a book. And my hope is to just look at people as people, because I know that we're all source energy. We're all part of light. No matter who we are, what we do, we all hold this within us. We're all just human beings. And I'm not looking at it from the perspective that people are broken, but that they're magnificent. And I only want to help them to shine brighter. So as I lead into 2025, I'm looking to branch out and speak to these corporations and really helping to create workshops around, pivoting a person from where they are to where they want to go. Because affirmations are a thing, just like the law of attraction. But sometimes people say affirmations and they're not working and they don't understand why. But it's because your subconscious mind doesn't believe it. And if you genuinely don't believe something, it will always show that back to you. The universe always says yes and mirrors it back to you, your inner belief, just as it is your highest thought. So I want to create a focus on bridging the gap. And it's like rewriting your story and tripping your subconscious mind into aligning you from the pathway of where you are into where you need to go. And it's really one of the easiest things that you could do. It's by acknowledging where you are at this moment. So for example, even though my current circumstances look like this, I know that I'm on a new pathway, and every day things are becoming easier and easier. Instead of focusing on dieting and I have to hit the gym every day, I feel healthier and healthier. Even though I'm not here right now, this is where I'm going. And when we can really understand our subconscious mind and acknowledge that this is the journey, and I do genuinely believe that I am headed into a new timeline, which would be a new quantum jump, a quantum leap, then things actually begin to align. So the things that we would block away from us, that we wouldn't be open to because our subconscious wouldn't allow us to see it as our own truth, would then begin to reveal itself. And then we can start to see, we're like, what would be possible if I did this? What could be possible if I did this? And what could be possible is my key for 2025.
That is terrific. And so last but not least, as we move into the close here, I want you to think about this. Right now, I'm in the process of interviewing 100 women that have become impact millionaires, and hearing What has caused them to have success? What do they believe is the key? And I would love to ask each of you what you think, because you're all very successful. And what do you think is your key to success? And let's start with Marley.
The key to success. Well, I'm going to kind of repeat what I said.
Yeah, your success.
Yeah. My delusional optimism that I can create anything that I want, and I always get what I want, even if it isn't what I originally thought it would look like. And it's not a matter of if it will happen. It's a matter of if I keep at it until it does, just holding that vision and creating anything.
That's amazing. Steph, what about you?
For me, it's resilience, because I hold a big ship. And I think a lot of people could relate. I'm a mother of 3. I have kids in competitive sports. I have a baby. I have a full-time job. And now I'm pivoting into a new job. So it's having the resilience and the inner tenacity to always keep pushing forward and seeding new opportunities, and believing that everything that I do opens up a portal of opportunity for the next breadcrumb to manifest into the next pathway. So it's definitely resilience, and which allows me to keep pushing forward.
That's terrific. And then Dilan, what about you?
I am wholeheartedly and unapologetically myself. I feel incredibly comfortable with like trusting my gut, because I know it's not a fluke. And I know the times that I have betrayed it or I haven't listened to it, it hasn't been the outcome I wanted. And the more that I've been in tune with that, and it's not a fluke, it's neuroscience. It is your brain telling you that you have experience to leverage for the future. That has been my superpower. And I practice what I preach, y'all. Like when I say movement makes your mind better, there's a reason why I was sprinting through 90-hour weeks and able to teach 10 fitness classes on top of my full-time job. It's because movement made me better at what I did. There's a mind-body connection that I used in my past, and I use it today. So when I make myself well, my business is well, the people around me are well. So I'm unapologetically taking care of myself, but then using that to be of service to everything else I do.
Okay. So how good has today been? And for everyone listening, you can go and you can hear Steph's story, Dilan's story, Marley's story, their massive relaunch journeys. And you can hear other women and men who have had significant relaunches that we felt just absolutely had to be on the top 10 podcast of the ReLaunch Podcast 2024. So check it out. It just dropped today, and let us know. Head over to Instagram, Hilary DeCesare, and let us know what the big takeaways from today, from the podcast. But let's keep that conversation going, because I want to hear what you are going to do. What is the key to dazzle and delight your clients as well? So again, Steph, Marley, Dilan, thank you for being here today. And I'm so excited to keep this going in 2025. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.